Good evening, everyone. So today here we are starting with another interesting topic for today's endocrine system, and which will be our speaker for today is Simhachalam. He is an MBBS student from Konaseema Institute of Medical Sciences, Andhra Pradesh. He is also involved in research, and he has 8 publications to his name. So I welcome him with his presentation of anatomy and physiology of endocrine system.
Thank you, ma'am. Is the presentation visible, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah, hello everyone, namaste. I am Simhachalam and I am going to present you about endocrine system, anatomy and physiology. Coming to the endocrine system is basically an aggregation of endocrine glands and the hormones they secrete. The endocrine glands are the ductless glands because they don't have any ducts. They directly release the secretions into the blood. Hormones are released by the endocrine glands into the circulating blood, influencing the function of the target cells. Although the endocrine glands are the primary hormone producers, in addition to them, there are many other organs which also secrete endocrine hormones. They are heart, lungs, liver, skin, and gastrointestinal mucosa also secrete some kind of hormones. The hormones, these are the unsung heroes of the body, which inform cells and what to do and when to do. The hormone is a chemical messenger which is released by the endocrine glands and which is directly secreted into the blood. These hormones are transported in the bloodstream to the target organs to where it should be going, and transferring information and instructions thereby. These hormones act by controlling and coordinating various physiological functions of the body. They are mainly body metabolism. This body metabolism is mainly controlled by thyroid hormones. They are triiodothyronine and thyroxine. Triiodothyronine is T3 and thyroxine is T4. And energy level is mainly the availability of the fuel. It is mainly regulated by the hormones such as insulin and glucagon. Insulin acts by reducing the blood glucose level, and the glucagon mainly acts by increasing the blood glucose level. They're both antagonistic to each other, and the reproduction is mainly controlled by gonadotropins and sex hormones like progesterone and estrogen in the females and testosterone in males. And growth and development is mainly regulated by the hormones, growth hormone and insulin like growth factors. And response to the injury, stress and mood by adaptation to the stress. These are the hormones such as glucocorticoids and cortisol. They are mainly concerned with response to the injury and the stress. These hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline are mainly concerned with stress. They're sympathetic hormones. Any hormonal imbalance may lead to the many deleterious effects to the body, like due to the hyposecretion or hypersecretion of any hormone. And these controlling the production or utilization of the hormones in the body can treat many hormonal disorders like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism or diabetes mellitus, etc. Coming to the anatomy of the endocrine system, there are the major endocrine glands in the body are pineal gland. This is the pineal gland. This is the hypothalamus. This is the thyroid gland, and these are the four parathyroid glands, two superior parathyroid glands and two inferior parathyroid glands, and this is the pancreas, and these are the two ovaries in females and two testes in males. Coming to the hypothalamus, as the name indicates, hypo, it is below the thalamus part of the brain. So the name indicates hypothalamus. It is located at the base of the brain near the optic chiasma. Optic chiasma is the region where the two optic nerves from the both sides meet. This is probably the optic chiasm. And coming to the pituitary gland is also called as master gland because it synthesizes and releases various hormones that can regulate functioning of the various organs of the body. Uh, It is a pea-sized oval structure. Okay, this is the pituitary gland. It is hanging from the lower part of the brain through a stalk. This is called the infundibulum of pituitary gland. This is the pituitary gland. There is a connection between the hypothalamus and pituitary gland that is called hypothalamus pituitary axis. And the pituitary gland contains two parts: the adenohypophysis, which is the anterior part of the pituitary gland. It is called adenohypophysis, as the name indicates. Adeno means glandular. It is mostly glandular, so it is called adenohypophysis. And the posterior part is called neurohypophysis. It is mainly of neural. It contains mainly neurons. Coming to the pineal gland is also known as epiphysis cerebrae. It is a small cone-shaped gland located below the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is the bridge between the two cerebral hemispheres. And it is this pineal gland is located below the corpus callosum in the middle part of the brain. And this thyroid gland is the one of the largest endocrine gland, which is a butterfly shaped gland located in the anterior part of the neck, uh, just in front of the larynx, which is called the voice box of the body. And it is located between C5 to T1 vertebra. There are mainly five types of vertebra, which is cervical vertebra in the neck, and thoracic vertebra in the thorax, that means chest, and lumbar vertebra, and sacral vertebra and coccyx. This thyroid gland lies between C5 and T1 vertebra, which this thyroid gland is divided into two lobes, which is connect these two this one first lobe and this is the second lobe. Both are connected by the isthmus. Next, coming to the thymus gland. Thymus gland is located in the upper part of the chest. That is the upper part of the chest, mainly in the mediastinum. Mediastinum, superior part of the mediastinum. Mediastinum is nothing but a cavity between the two lungs. The cavity is known as mediastinum. This thymus gland is located in the superior part of this mediastinum. This thymus gland is the dual organ, which is both a lymphoid and endocrine. Lymphoid is nothing but it secretes some kind of lymphocytes, which are called T lymphocytes. They're mainly concerned with the immune function of the body. And this endocrine part of the thymus gland secrete hormone called thymosin. This thymus gland is largest in the children, and mostly most of its size largest size at puberty, and gradually it reduces its size after puberty. That decrease in size is called as involution of the thymus gland, and is slowly replaced by the fat. The parathyroid glands are four in number. These are the parathyroid glands. These are the superior parathyroid glands, and these are the two inferior parathyroid glands. They're located in the neck on the posterior aspect of the. This is the posterior aspect of the thyroid gland. They're located in the posterior aspect of the lateral lobes. This adrenal gland is adrenal glands. There are two in number. They are called suprarenal glands because they are located in the upper part of the kidney. This adrenal gland contains of two regions: the outer adrenal cortex and the inner medulla. Inner medulla is secretes two major hormones. They are norepinephrine and epinephrine. They are catecholamines. The outer adrenal cortex is divided into three parts: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticulosa. So coming to the pancreas, pancreas is an abdominoglandular organ. It has both digestive functions and endocrine functions. This abdominoglandular organ contains, this is a mixed gland because it is both exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine part has some ducts, that major pancreatic duct and minor pancreatic ducts, and the endocrine part has no ducts. As the name indicates, endocrine glands are ductless glands. So exocrine part of the pancreas mainly secretes pancreatic enzymes, which are involved in digestive function of the body, and the endocrine part of the pancreas secretes some hormones. It has both digestive and hormonal functions. Around 95% of the pancreas is this exocrine part. And coming to the ovaries are the female gonads, which are in related to testes in males. Ovaries are the female gonads, which are two in number, located in the both sides of the uterus, below the opening of the fallopian tubes. These are the fallopian tubes. Below the opening of the this is the fallopian tube opening. Just behind the opening of the fallopian tube, these ovaries will be located. They are the mixed glands because they release gametes, that is ovum or egg, and sex hormones like progesterone and estrogen. Coming to the testes are the male gonads. Uh, they are the pair of sperm producing organs located in the pouch called scrotum. This is a scrotal bag-like structure. This is the scrotum. They are located in the scrotum. They are also mixed glands because they secrete both gametes and sex hormones. These gametes include sperm, and the sex hormones include testosterone. The other hormone producing tissues or organs are heart, lungs, liver, skin, kidney, gastrointestinal mucosa, and placenta. Coming to the physiology of the endocrine system, the classification of the hormones. Hormones are basically two types: steroid hormones and amino acid hormones. Steroid hormones are basically produced from the precursor cholesterol. They're made from the cholesterol. These steroid hormones are very less. They are six hormones which are produced by the gonads, and hormones produced by the adrenal cortex. Those include glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and six corticoids. These amino acid producing hormones, their majority of the hormones are amino acid based hormones. They are made up of amines, peptides, and proteins. Next, coming to the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus releases many hormones. Those act on the pituitary to release some other hormones. Hypothalamus hormones mainly are a thyrotropin releasing hormone TRH, which acts on the which stimulates release of thyroid stimulating hormone and prolactin from the pituitary gland, and corticotropin releasing hormone, which acts on the pituitary to release adrenocorticotropic hormone, which acts on the adrenal cortex. Next, it also produces a growth hormone releasing hormone, which acts on the pituitary gland to secrete growth hormone. It also produces somatostatin, which is also produced from the pancreas also. Growth hormone, inhibitory hormone, acts on the pituitary gland to reduce the secretion of the secretion of the growth hormone from the pituitary gland. It also releases gonadotropin release hormone. It stimulates release of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone from the pituitary gland, anterior part of the pituitary gland. It also produces prolactin inhibiting factor. Coming to the pituitary gland hormones, these are the pituitary gland hormones. This is the anterior part of the pituitary, which is called adenohypophysis. This is the posterior part of the pituitary. This is the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus acts on the anterior hypothalamus acts on the pituitary by the hypothalamo-pituitary axis. This is the hypothalamo-pituitary axis. It secretes the hormones and releases into the pituitary gland, so that it releases the further hormones such as growth hormone, which acts on the bones and muscles and organs of the body to increase the growth of the organs and the tissues. It also releases prolactin, which acts on the breast for its development, and it also releases luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone, which acts on the ovaries in females and testes in males. To secrete estrogen and progesterone in the ovaries from the ovaries, and testosterone from the testes. ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. It is released from the anterior part of the pituitary, acting on adrenal cortex, thereby releasing some cortical hormones. Those include mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and 6-corticoids. And TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, it acts on the thyroid gland to release thyroid hormones, which are T3, T4, and calcitonin. T3 is triiodothyronine, and T4 is thyroxine. It also, from the posterior pituitary, there are two hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin. Vasopressin is the ADH, antidiuretic hormone. It acts on the kidneys to reduce the absorption of to increase the absorption of the sodium and water from the going out of the body. It also releases oxytocin, which acts on the uterine muscles to contract. So these are the growth hormone which is involved in protein synthesis and overall growth of the cells and tissues of the body. This is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which involved in synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones T3, T4. And adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates synthesis and secretion of the adrenocortical hormones, which include cortisol, glucocorticoid, androgens, and aldosterone. Aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid. Next, prolactin, it promotes development of female breasts and secretion of the milk. Okay, next, follicle stimulating hormone. It causes the growth of the follicles in the ovary and sperms, maturation in the serotonin, sperm maturation in secretion and maturation in the Sertoli cells of the testes. Luteinizing hormone, it is majorly involved in testosterone synthesis in Leydig cells of the testes. Next, posterior pituitary gland. Posterior pituitary gland releases two major hormones. Antidiuretic hormone is also called as vasopressin. It increases water reabsorption by the kidneys and causes vasoconstriction and increased blood pressure. It is majorly act during the diuresis. Diuresis means it is majorly involved in diabetes insipidus, in which there is a more secretion, release, excretion of water in the body from the body. So this antidiuretic hormone acts against that and reduces the diuresis condition of the body. It acts also. Oxytocin is another hormone from the posterior pituitary gland, which stimulates milk ejection from the breast and uterine contractions. Thyroid gland. Thyroid gland produces three hormones: thyroxine T4 and triiodothyronine T3, which increases the rate of chemical reactions in the most cells. That is basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate. And coming to the calcitonin. Calcitonin promotes deposits of calcium in the bones, and calcium grams per deciliter. This thyroid gland, this is a T3 hormone, T4 and calcitonin. Calcitonin is mainly concerned with the calcium levels in the blood. Coming to the pineal gland is also called as third eye because of its deeper location in the central part of the brain, and its connection to the light, as the pineal gland secretion increases during the night time, and its metaphysical spiritual connection between the physical and the spiritual worlds. So it is called third eye. It releases the hormone called melatonin. Melatonin regulates the circadian rhythm. It is called a sleep-wake cycle of the body. In 2017, recently, Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine is awarded to Professor Jeffrey C. Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael W. Young for their discoveries of molecular mechanisms controlling the circadian rhythm. Coming to the thymus gland produces the hormone called thymosin, which is mainly concerned with the production of T cells in the body. These T cells are mainly concerned with immune function of the body. This thymosin also assists in the development of B cells. B cells are mainly B lymphocytes. They are mainly produced from bone marrow. This thymosin assists in the this development of B cells, and also conversion of the B cells into the plasma cells. Thereby finally conversion into antibodies. Antibodies are majorly five types in the body. They are IgG, IgA, IgM, IgD, and IgE. Okay, coming to the parathyroid glands, parathyroid glands produce a hormone called parathyroid hormone, which controls the serum calcium ion. This parathyroid hormone acts antagonistic to the calcitonin hormone. This parathyroid hormone tries to increase the blood level in the increase the calcium level in the blood, and that calcitonin acts by decreasing the blood calcium level. This parathormone controls serum ion concentration by increasing the calcium absorption by the gut and also kidneys, thereby releasing calcium from the bones. Coming to the adrenal cortex, as I mentioned previously, it contains the three regions: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. This zona glomerulosa releases hormones called mineralocorticoids. The main mineralocorticoid is aldosterone. It acts by increasing the renal sodium reabsorption into the body and the potassium secretion out of the body, and also hydrogen ion secretion. This zone of fasciculata releases the hormones called glucocorticoids. The main glucocorticoid is cortisol. Okay, it is mainly released in the stressful conditions. This is a multiple metabolic. This has multiple metabolic functions in controlling the metabolism of the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. It also has anti inflammatory effects, as it is a steroid hormone. Zona reticularis produces sex corticoids like testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone are the female hormones, and testosterone is a male hormone. Next, adrenal medulla secretes hormones called norepinephrine and epinephrine. They are also called as noradrenaline and adrenaline, which has a sympathetic stimulation. They are flight or fight hormones. This is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. The hypothalamus releases a corticotropin releasing hormone, which acts on the anterior pituitary gland to release adrenocorticotropic hormone, which acts on the adrenal cortex to release the hormones from the adrenal cortex. Coming to the pancreas, the endocrine part of the pancreas is endocrine part of the pancreas is secretes hormones. Uh, the endocrine part of the pancreas consists of alpha cells, beta cells, and delta cells. Alpha cells are mainly concerned with secretion of the glucagon, which increases the synthesis and release of glucose from the liver. This glucagon acts by stimulating the breakdown of glycogen into the glucose, thereby increasing the blood glucose levels. Okay, then beta cells release insulin, which insulin promotes glucose uptake by the target tissues of the body. Thereby, it reduces the glucose level in the blood. This glucagon and insulin are antagonistic in function. Coming to the delta cells produce somatostatin, right, which is also secreted by the hypothalamus. This somatostatin inhibits the secretion of the other hormones of the body. Coming to the ovaries, ovaries produce estrogen and progesterone by the axis called hypothalamo-pituitary ovarian axis. This hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone from the to the pituitary. It stimulates the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. This follicle stimulating hormone acts on the ovary in maturation of the follicles to produce these hormones estrogen and progesterone. This luteinizing hormone maintains the corpus luteum and stimulates the progesterone and estrogen production. This estrogen promotes growth and development of the female reproductive system and the secondary sexual characters, like development of the female breast, etc. Progesterone stimulates secretion of the uterine milk, which is a more protein, contain many proteins, which can nourish the growing embryo. By the this is uterine milk is secreted by the uterine endometrial glands, which nourishes the growing embryo and promotes the development of the secretory apparatus of the breast. Progesterone is mainly the pregnancy hormone. Testis produces the hormone called testosterone, which promotes the development of male reproductive system and male secondary sexual characters. It acts on the bones in the bone mass density maintenance, and it acts on the muscles in growth, increases strength of the muscles, and acts on the skin by for hair growth and collagen growth. It acts on the brain sexual urge, which is a sexual drive. It is also called libido.
Two
It
minutes.
acts on the bone marrow for red blood cell production and acts on the sex organs for the sperm production and prostate growth. The other hormone producing tissues and organs of the body include the stomach. Stomach produces the hormone called gastrin, which stimulates glands of the stomach to release hydrochloric acid HCl, which maintains the acidic environment of the stomach. And in the duodenum, duodenum secretes the hormone called intestinal gastrin, which inhibits the HCl secretion. This intestinal gastrin and gastrin are antagonistic to each other, and the duodenum also secretes a hormone called secretin, which aids in the functions related to the digestion, which affects the pancreas, liver, and stomach. And duodenum also secretes the hormone called cholecystokinin, which acts on the gallbladder for its contraction and production, release of the bile. Placenta. Coming to the placenta, placental hormones and their functions. This is the this is the fetus, and this is the placenta, which nourishes the main function of the placenta is product is mainly giving the fetus the oxygen and nutrients, nourishing the fetus. These placental hormones includes human chorionic gonadotropin, which maintains the corpus luteum, and the it also secretes some amounts of progesterone, estrogen, and also placental lactogen. This placental lactogen is mainly important for stimulation of the mammary glands to supply energy to the fetus, and also it also secretes some amounts of parathyroid hormone and also relaxin, which softens the cervix and weakens the pubic symphysis bone. And also corticotropin releasing hormone, some amounts of corticotropin releasing hormone is also released from the placenta. Coming to the hormones released from the skin secretes some amounts of insulin-like growth factors, which are involved in the growth and development of the tissues of the body. It is also releases some amounts of catecholamines and steroid hormones, mainly the vitamin D from the cholesterol. It also lung also releases some amounts of norepinephrine, acetylcholine, and prostaglandins. And also heart releases a special hormone called anti-natriuretic peptide ANP, which is mainly regulates the blood pressure in the body by sodium and water excretion from the body. From the kidney, it releases the hormone called erythropoietin, which is mainly concerned with erythrocyte production, which is, it is a major hormone. Next, it also secretes the renin, which is a part of the renin angiotensin aldosterone system RAS. Renin is mainly concerned with aldosterone secretion from the adrenal adrenal cortex. Aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid. From the liver, liver secretes some amounts of insulin like growth factor, erythropoietin, and hepcidin. This So finally, yoga poses stimulate the regular secretion of the hormones from the endocrine glands, thus promoting overall physical and emotional health of the well-being. Thank you.
Please share your slide. Thank you, Simhachalam, for such a nice
Thank you.
presentation and making a summary out of what all organs are there in the body and specific uh, hormones released from it and their function. So I would now ask the our panel members to ask any question if they have. So, well, for the audience, I'm asking you a question. Can you enlighten us about what is mesocrine, endocrine, and exocrine?
Yeah, exocrine is mainly the exocrine glands are the mainly the glands which have ducts, and endocrine glands are the ductless glands. They don't have any ducts. These endocrine glands directly secrete the hormones they produce directly into the blood. But coming to the exocrine glands have some ducts to store the any hormones or secretions they produce.
Okay, thank you. Also, in your last slide, you told us about that yoga affects the mental and physical
Yeah.
well-being through these hormones. So is there,
Some yoga poses they have some stimulation of this correct stimulation of the hormones to produce in the correct time. Therefore, they maintain the well-being.
so mainly in which diseases have you seen that yoga has
Yeah,
helped sleep?
in the recent articles from the recent literature, it is found that this yoga has some promising results in the diabetes in treatment of the diabetes. There is also ongoing research on the other hormones too.
Okay. Anyone else has any question?
Sir, I want to ask, as there are two kinds of hormones, satiety hormones and sleeping hormones.
Yes.
So, are these actually hormones, or they have been named as hormones because of their action?
Yeah, the sleep hormone, this melatonin, which is secreted from the pineal gland, it maintains the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is the sleep-wake cycle. So, for effective sleep-wake cycle, this melatonin plays a major role. So, any hormonal imbalance of this melatonin can lead to deleterious effects on the sleep and the uh, well-being of the individual. Coming to the satiety hormones, there is a hormone called ghrelin, which is secreted from the stomach. This is mainly an hunger hormone, which stimulates the hunger of the individual. Like it increases the contraction of the stomach. That gives a feeling of the hunger to an individual, so that he feels very hungry and goes to eat.
Okay, but after a particular at a particular time, as we feel hunger because of circadian rhythm or because of this ghrelin, and after a particular longer time, if we do not eat in that hunger period, we stop feeling that hunger
Yeah.
after some time. So, does ghrelin play a role in that also?
Yeah, ghrelin is mainly released in the sustained period of hunger. If he prolongs the if individual prolongs his hunger period, the body gets some resistance and the hunger goes away gradually. It happens.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Simhachalam, for such a nice presentation, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
So the biology series will be joining again on the 9th of October with another topic on transcription, which is part of the central dogma. So thank you all and good night.